All right, welcome to day 7 and part 2 of the class. In this part, Coach Joseph Sule is going to be taking us through how to format the book we just created professionally using MS Word. Over to you, sir.
All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome. And I want to specially recognize Mr. Samuel, Dr. Jumoke, and Molua Toyin. And I think I also saw Mariam Sulawuddin. Welcome to today's class. Okay. The next thing we are going to do is to pick this book that Bishop helped us to write with ChatGPT and then format it. Don't be scared by the word formatting. Formatting simply means arranging the book in a user-friendly way, such a way that whoever is reading the book, his eyes are not stressed. And it is important because I always say any badly formatted book will put the reader off. By the time the reader gets to page 2, page 3, oh no, he doesn't understand how to navigate around the book, he puts it down. Secondly, it is also important for you to format your book well, especially if you are thinking of printing a hard copy online. Platforms like Amazon are very strict. Any small formatting that does not go well, it will bounce back. They won't print it. Other platforms might accept it, but they won't accept it if it is poorly formatted, especially the paperback. You might get away with ebook, but paperback, no. I remember we talked about taking your book to the next level, roasting it. After writing an ebook, you don't just want to stay there. You need to roast it, take it up to another point, okay? So we are going to format this book now. Let me share my screen so that you see the book, and then we will format it. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen now. If you can see my screen, give me a 1. You can see the book titled The Language of the Wise. I am on the first page, table of content. If you can see it, give me a 1 on the chart. All right, thank you. Okay, first thing first, before you start formatting. Anyway, that's my own approach. Different coaches have different approaches. Different people have different approaches. But me, I always feel like the first thing you want to do is to determine the size of your book before you begin formatting. Because sometimes when you don't resize the book and you go ahead and you start formatting and you finish up your formatting, by the time you resize the book, the formatting will go out of proportion. Okay? Things will scatter. Now, I remember the first day of this boot camp, Bishop told us a number of book sizes that are popular with many platforms. You know, these sizes, you can be sure that if your book falls within these sizes, most of these platforms will accept them. And one of the popular one he mentioned was the 5 by 8 inches size. Okay, most platforms will work with 5 by 8. It is not too big and bulky for a reader to carry. It is fairly small to enter a purse or some large pockets, and that's why people just love working with that size. Now, by default, Microsoft Word comes in A4 size, but you can change it to any size you want. You can change it to any default size. You can change it to any customized size you want. And as digital entrepreneurs, I'm telling you, you know this, but a lot of people do not even know that they can resize the page on their Microsoft application. So I will start by resizing this book to 5 by 8 inches. So I will go to my tab up here and go to this place called the sizing option. If you can see it, please give me a 2 on the chart. Let me be sure that you see that tab function that says size, because that is where we are going to go and resize the book. All right. Okay, thank you. So I'll click on it, and then a drop down will appear, giving me different sizes of paper. letter, legal statement, A4, which is where we are currently, even envelope size, very tiny, long rectangular distance. And it goes down, A6. So I'm just going to search for A5 because 5.3 is actually A5. But if I don't see it, no problem. I can always come to more paper sizes and then come to this place where I have the dimension for the width and the dimension for the height. Now, Bishop said it's usually good to work with inches because it is easier to follow through with inches. Unfortunately for me, I didn't set my Microsoft Word to give me sizes in inches. But all the same, since I am here already, I can simply convert the inches into centimeter. And 5 by 8 inches, 5 inches is actually 12.7 centimeter. So I'll just clean this and type in 12.7. Okay, that's the width. And then the height is 8 inches, and 8 inches is 20.32 centimeters. So I'll erase this and type 20.32 centimeter because the SI unit is in centimeter. But if it were in inches, if I remember to reset it in inches, I'll just simply have typed 5'8". Okay, and then I'll say okay. And watch this. It shrank to the point that on the normal viewing page, it is even giving me 2 pages at once because it is now smaller. Now, this is a pocket pause-friendly size of a book that most platforms out there would accept, either as an ebook or a paperback. Right. So with my size in place now, I am ready to start formatting proper. So what's the first thing to do is to look at my book. These contents look scattered. Okay, they look scattered. I see the chapters in one place. I see some icons. I might want to keep the icons. I might not want to keep them. And then suddenly I see under the table of contents, I see the introduction starting on the same page. Now, this shouldn't be. For a professional formatting, after the table of content, the next thing should come on a separate new page. After introduction, for example, I see chapter 1 just coming in immediately underneath introduction. It should be on a separate page of its own. And that is how each chapter in this book should be properly placed on a separate page in the document. Now, here is a mistake that most people who are not professionals in formatting will do. And you will not do this mistake because at the end of the day, you become a professional formatter right here. People will say, all right, since I need to separate this introduction from the table of content, I will bring my cursor and put it here. And then I'll start hitting my paragraph button to shift it down, to shift it down, to shift it down, to shift it down, until it gets to the next page. And when they do that this way, they think that they have formatted the book well. Now, introduction is on a separate page. But this is not proper because this is what will happen. Assuming for any reason, I come back to this page and I have more information to add. Okay, just for example, I add more information on the previous page. Observe what happened to introduction now. It has gone down. The reason is that Microsoft is still recognizing the space between introduction and whatever I added here as part of the same document on that page. So even though I have added information here, I have succeeded in scattering my formatting here. Okay, so there's a professional way to do it. So let me erase this so that we can do it the professional way, because that is why we are here. Now, though this document came with some formatting, I'll just remove the formatting for the sake of showing you how I arrived at this. Now, let's say this is our introduction. Okay, we need to take it to the next page. So I'll bring my cursor and place it in front of the word introduction. And then I will go to this function here called the layout. Please, if you can see the layout, give me a 2 on the chart. You have the file, then the home, then insert, draw, design, depending on your Microsoft version, and then layout. So I will hit on layout. As soon as I click layout, I get some options. Different things that I can do under the function of layout. I can change my margin here. I can change the orientation of the book, make it landscape or keep it portrait. Of course, I can change the size, which was what we did earlier on. I can change the write-ups to appear in 2 columns. And I can do something called breaks. Now, what exactly is break? Let's click it and find out. Now, I am interested in this thing here called page that says mark the point at which one page ends and the next page begins. This function here inside the layout, inside the breaking function, this sub-function will help me take this content to the next page in such a way that even if I come back to the previous page and add more content, more information, it will not push the content down. It will always recognize this content to start on a different page. So I tell you, even if the information I add on the previous page makes the previous page 3 more pages, this one will still remain on its own page. It won't move anywhere. So let's do that. And I'll click on page and it moves it down to a new page. Okay. Now let's go back and try this. Assuming I add some information. I just keep adding information, maybe more table of content, for example. What happens even down to the last part of the page? And I keep adding information. Observe this. What happens to introduction? Nothing. It doesn't move anywhere. Please, if you get this, give me a 5. If you understand why it is important to insert pagination using the breaking tool, give me a 5 on the chat. Thank you, Mr. Samuel. I see that 5. All right. Thank you, Oluwatoyin. I see that 5. All right. We are making progress. Good. So let's go back to the book and continue our formatting. Now I have introduction on a separate page. So I'll go down, and look for chapter 1. Okay, it appears like chapter 1 is already on a separate page, but sometimes you can't tell. So I usually advise that you confirm, okay, as I just did now by, deleting the space before it. And then I'll go to my layout, go to break, and break it. Put it on a separate page. Go down, look for chapter 2. Where is chapter 2? You see, we are struggling to find chapter 2 because it is mixed up in chapter 1. So that is what formatting does for you. It helps you easily to navigate around the book. If everything is clustered, it becomes difficult for you to find one thing or the other. This content came with some stars before the chapter, which I don't need. You can choose to keep it as a styling, like this one here behind this, but I don't want it. So I'm taking it out. Then I'll place chapter 2 on a separate page. So of course, I'll go back to my layout. I'll go back to my layout, click layout, break the page, insert chapter 2 on a separate page. Then I'll scroll down till I locate chapter 3, which is here. Okay, and chapter 3 looks very tiny. It's in a different font color, blue, and all of these things, I don't need them. So I will do my formatting here also. I will remove this asterisk. I don't actually need them. But chapter 3 is still on the same page that has contents from chapter 2. So I'm going to move it down to a new page as well. The same process. Go back to my layout, break the page, and insert it on a separate page. And this you will do for each and every chapter in your book. It's going to be hard work, but it will be worth it at the end of the day. By the time we do this well, you see that it will become easier for us to insert our table of contents. I think, I can't remember whether it was in day one or in one of the boot camps that someone asked a question, can I not just insert a manual table of content and move on? Yes, you can insert a manual table of content, but it doesn't make your book look professional. When your book has a professional table of content, it tells your clients that you took time to format that book. So when you cost that book, and you tell them this is how much you should pay for this book, they'll be willing to pay for it, most likely because they feel that a lot of effort went into formatting this book. Secondly, a professional table of content helps your readers to easily navigate around your book. From your table of content, they don't need to scroll down to find a particular chapter or page. They can click on the table of content. Because it has a link embedded in it, it will take them straight to the page or chapter where they need to go. And then some platforms, if you don't even have a professional table of content in your book, they won't accept it for publication. Okay, so that's why it's best you learn this skill. It is not hard. Okay, it's not hard. Don't worry, it's not hard. We'll do it here together, you will see. And we have started actually. So chapter 5, I'm going to move it down to a new page and I'll go to the layout and break it and insert it on a new page. Then I'll go look for chapter 6. And chapter 6, where are you? It is here. Okay. All right. Someone is raising his hand, Mr. Samuel. All right, let me hear you. Unmute your mic, put on your video, and then ask your question, sir.
Sorry. I'm seeing
Yes,
you because I'm watching very carefully.
Okay, sir.
I'm seeing you going back home. I'm seeing you going home. I'm seeing you go normal before starting this. I don't understand that process. Before going back to that layout again.
This template already came, the chapters already came embedded in the heading template. And it is that heading template that will help me to insert a professional table of content. But I need to remove it from the template, and then later on I'll insert it so that you will see how we insert chapters in the template in order to get our table of content. If I just go to the table of content now and I tell Microsoft Word, insert for me a table of content, it will bring it from this template here. But you did not see how we inserted it in the template, so you won't learn. So I'm going back in step, I'm retracing my step. This very chapter 6, for example, that you see here, I'm going to insert it into a table of contents template, okay, which will help me to insert a professional table of content at the beginning of the book. I need to undo it and then redo it again so that you will see how to do it.
All right, sir.
You get that, Mr. Samuel?
Yes,
Because
sir.
we picked it straight from ChatGPT. And ChatGPT decided to put the chapter heading into the template for us. But it didn't show us how it did that. So I decided to remove the chapters from the template, and then I'll put them in a short while after now, I'll put them back into the template so that you see how to do it. Don't worry, Mr. Samuel. Don't be confused. Don't look confused. It will be clear in a short while from now. All right.
Okay,
so
sir.
this is what Mr. Samuel was talking about. He sees me highlighting this, and then I go to the home tab, and then I come to normal, and then I click normal, and then the color disappears. And the text even changes. So he was wondering, what is this that I'm doing? So that is what I'm going to explain not too long from now. So I'm going to break these two. Then I think the last chapter is chapter 7, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, it's even chapter 6. Good. So now let's go back to the top of our book. In fact, at this point, I can do this. Okay, I can just simply delete this because I have permission from my chief coach to just delete this table of content because I'm going to insert a professional one there. So I highlighted everything and I took it out. But I need a page to insert my table of content. So I'll go to layout, go to break, and then insert a page there. This is where I'm going to insert my table of content. Now, coming back to your question, Mr. Samuel. Every heading needs to be in the table of content. This chapter 1, I think this is the title for chapter 1, the noisy generation. Introduction is on its own. It doesn't have a subtitle. It doesn't have a pay line. Chapter 2, this is chapter 2, and this is the title for chapter 2, Understanding Wisdom as a Way of Life. And then there is a quotation down there. Okay. So this is what I'm going to do in order to get my table of content. I will highlight introduction. If I want to leave it in capital letters, fine. If I want to leave it in small letters, fine. But I think chapter 1 the chapters and their names are all in small letters. So maybe I'll just make it small letters. So let me make it small letters. So I'll highlight this introduction here like this. Then I'll come to my home tab. This is my home tab here where you saw me going before and you saw me clicking this normal. Now this normal is what we call the table of content styling template. Anything I insert into this template, the application will recognize it as good to go into the table of content. If it is not there, the application will not insert it into the table of content. So I'll select introduction, and by default, you normally have heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, and title, subtitle, and all of that, depending on how many headings you want to insert in your table of contents. For some books in the table of content, you just see chapter 1, blah, 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 and that is all. Some you see chapter 1 and the name of the chapter, and then a subtitle under chapter 1. Maybe even a further subtitle under still that chapter 1. So you have chapter 1, but then you have subtitles like 3, 4, or even 5 under chapter 1. Okay, same thing goes for chapter 2, same thing chapter 3. So if you have that kind of table of content styling, that is where heading number 2, heading number 3, heading number 4, heading number 5 will come important for you. But for this book, we are taking just the chapter and the chapter name only. So as I have selected that introduction, I'm going to insert it into template heading 1. And it has changed. Observe, before it, you see one small triangle pointing down. Anywhere you see this triangle, it is telling you that the word there is inside the table of content styling template. If you don't see this, you have not captured it yet. But then the template comes with a design by default, but it doesn't mean I have to work with what is there. I can customize it. I don't like the blue color. It looks fainty. It's not easy to read because you have a sky blue color on the white background. Also, if you take this book to platforms like Amazon and you decide to print a hard copy, you might have issues with this color that is not very legible. You see Amazon telling you that something is not reflecting or so like that. So I just want to make it all black so that I won't have problem printing the hard copy. I won't have problem with my readers reading my titles. So I'll come back to this heading here. And this time around, I will use my mouse or my pad to right click. And then I'll get this pop-up notification here. And I'll go to modify. And as soon as I click modify, it will give me options to modify this particular template. By default, the template comes in sky blue color. And I can say, no, I don't want sky blue color. I want it all black, pure black. And then the styling is Calibri light. That's the font style. I can decide to say, let me go with Tahoma. And by default, the font size is 16. And I can say, I think I want to do 24. Okay. And if I am okay with the modification, I can simply say, okay. And watch what happens to that introduction word there. It has changed to the modifications I just imputed. Introduction is big enough now, legible, it's standing out as a title, and you can easily see it. It's black, it's conspicuous, it's looking nice. So next thing is that I will scroll down and look for chapter 1. Here it is. Okay, and I'll highlight chapter 1 and simply go back to heading template number 1 that I just modified and click on it. Okay, you see that? If I want, I can even include the chapter 1 and the title of the chapter 1 and include it in the table of content. It's all up to me, whatever I want to do. Okay? Then I'll scroll down and look for chapter 2. And this is chapter 2. And I'll select this and insert it into the template. And likewise,
Did coach got frozen? Okay, let's give him a little time. That could be his network. If you are still following and you understand what is happening, please give me a 1 on the chat. Just drop 1. Let me know you are following and you are learning. Oh, great. So I expect us to go after this class and start implementing this method of book formatting. Ensure you write your book today. I hope that while we're in class right now, you are also writing your own book already, and you will use this method to format it so that you can have your book completed. If time permits, before we leave here today, we're going to open accounts for those who do not have account on Seller, for those who do not have account on Lulu. We're going to do that in class, but don't understand some technicalities. That is why the recorded video is there. Mama Oluwatoyin, you can always watch the recorded video so that you can watch it at your pace. You can pause, rewind, watch again, pause, rewind, watch again. That way, you will be able to catch up with what is being trained and do exactly as we have. Okay, so let us proceed. I'm going to share from my end and continue the formatting, even though Coach Joseph Sule has gone far. Let me share his network. That Aboki network in Jos has thrown him out. So let's continue. Okay, so I haven't said what he said. I don't have the exact document that he used in doing his own practical, but I'm sure I can take it up from where he is. Now, for me, like he rightly mentioned in the beginning, if I want to format a book, the first thing I do is sizing the page, sizing of the page. Now, I taught us in that free 5 days bootcamp, and I'll repeat it again in this 30 days bootcamp, that there are 3 basic sizes of your ebook. There is 6 inches by 9 inches, like I mentioned even during the graphic design class for book covers. There is 5.5 by 8.5, and there is 5 inches by 8. These are the 3 most popular sizes for your ebook. Is Coach Joseph Sule back?
Sorry, I got knocked out again, but I'm back
No
now.
problem. All
Yes.
right, welcome back. So continue.
Thank you, sir. Yes, so let me share my screen and we continue from where I stopped. I think I was inserting the chapters into the table of content template before the network knocked me out. Okay, so let me just share my screen and then we continue. Please forgive me. All right, so we are back. So I'm gonna highlight chapter 6 and its title and then insert it into the table of content. Don't worry if it looks like the thing is not looking proportional. It's too close to the quotation below, and the quotation looks almost the same size with all the text below. This is formatting. That's why we are formatting. Everything here today, we'll fix it up. Okay. And at the end of today, you see this book looking very sweet, such that even you, if they say buy it, you want to buy it. So we'll go back. I've done all of this for chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, there's something I learned from my bishop yesterday. He said modern books now do not carry this chapter 1 thing, and then you have the title of the book. So I can simply delete this chapter if I want. That is what I'm going to do. I'll just leave it as 1. And it's still up to me to highlight it and reduce the size. Just that 1, and maybe make it italic, so that this way you know that this is chapter 1. It's just styling. Okay. So let me do this and then effect the same changes to the rest. Now there is a reason why I separately did this. If I go back to the template and I effect any change, because I selected both chapter and chapter title, everything will change. But I only want this chapter 1 to change. That was why I manually formatted it now. And because I want that particular effect, I will have to manually fix the remaining things too. Select the chapter. Sorry, I don't want the chapter. I'm just going to leave it at 2. So I'll select 2, reduce the font size, and make it italic. Just a style. Okay. I'll have to go and look for chapter 3 and do the same thing. Remove that chapter. Just leave it as 3, highlight it, reduce the sizing, and then make it italic. So quickly we go to chapter 4, same thing. I remove chapter 4, highlight the word 4, reduce the sizing, and click on italics and make it look italic in style. And I'll come to chapter 5 and similarly do this. Please, if you are getting this so far, let me have a 6 on the chart. Or if I'm rushing, if I'm too fast, let me know. Mr. Samuel, is this doable? Just give me a yes in the chat if it is doable. Okay, Mr. Samuel confirm it's making sense. Okay, we are not doing any magic like that. We are simply inserting each chapter into the template. It is that template that will help us generate a table of content, a professional one with links. What I am simply doing now is that I am inserting links into the titles, such that when I insert the table of content, you can click on any chapter on the table of content and the link will bring you to the page where the table of content is found. So I'll go to the last chapter, which is 6, and I'll manually format it too by removing the chapter and leaving the word 6. I highlight it, reduce the size to 20, and then make it italic. Boom, now there you go. Now, to further separate the title from the quotation below, because I want the chapter to stand up a bit, I can choose this quotation and just reduce the size a bit because I think it is competing with the size of the text. By the way, the size of the text is 12, but you can change it to anything. Most books these days use 14 and 16. But if the book is bulky, you have lots of text, then you might want to leave it at 12, sometimes even 11. If not, your book is going to be very bulky and then the publisher will charge you more because it's going to consume a lot of inks and it's going to consume paper. So this entire text, you can change it to any size you want. But for the sake of practice today, I'll just leave it at 12. But usually modern books use 14 and 16 these days. So I will just highlight this code and reduce it to say 11 so that it doesn't compete too much with the main text. And then go down, do same for this chapter, just reduce it to 11. I can choose to reduce it to 10 even if I want. I just don't want it to compete with the main text in that chapter. And reduce this. And likewise this. This. And this. Okay. So now our book is taking shape. Okay. For some people, they like to justify their books such that the beginning of the paragraph and the end of the paragraph are aligned, kind of flushing together like on the same line. Some people prefer this old styling of publication, leaving the formatting like this. To the left-hand side, it is aligned, but to the right-hand side, it flows freely. Okay, so this is what I mean. Some books come this way, assuming I want to align this and give it full justification. I highlight the text and then I go to this function here called justify, and I simply just say justify. And then all the words on one side end in a straight line, as well as the words from the beginning. Is styling. Some people are okay with this, some people are not. Okay, but let me see. All right. So I'll just leave it this way for now because the main thing I want you to see now are two things: pagination and the table of content. So now, assuming I have all my chapters in the styling template, any error, I've checked it, everything is fine. I want to go and give my book page. Each book should have a page number. So to do this, I will come back here to this tab up here and go to insert. Okay, and I'll click on insert. And then under insert, I have so many things I can do. I can insert tables, I can insert pictures, I can insert icons, I can insert links, hyperlinks within the book so that if you click the link, it takes you to your website or a picture or anything. But I'm interested in this column here that says header, footer, page number. And I'll come to page number and pick it. And then it gives me different styles of pagination that I can use. I can put my number to the left-hand side of the page on top if I want. Or I can decide to put my numbers at the bottom of the page to the left-hand side or right in the middle or to the right-hand side. And then even the pagination has some further styling. There is this style that says it gives you number 1 and then the word 1 with a strike in between. Then there is this one that says page and a strike, and then the 1 comes after and it's on the right-hand side. There is this one that says pg.1, that's page 1. Just different styles. All depends on what you want to do. Some even come with graphics like this one. You have a line on top of it, a thin line, and then a thick, heavy line below it. Okay? Any one you pick will work. But let's pick this one in the middle. Good. Now see, our book has pagination now. Automatically, the application brought in the footer and then inserted our numbers there. So to get out of the footer, I just simply click on any point on the document this way and I'm out. And I'll go back and look at my book very well again. I have page 1, I have page 2, I have page 3, I have page 4. Everything looks fine. Okay, everything looks fine. So now I'm going to insert my table of content. I have a page here, which is blank for inserting my table of content. And remember, this is a book. Okay, I can have my the title of my book there. I can have my dedication there. I can have a forward if I want. I can have anything I want before even the introduction. That's how a proper book should look like. Okay, so I'm going to insert the table of contents now. And this time is going to be easy for me. I'm not going to do it manually because I have the titles in the table of contents styling template. So I don't need to come here and say introduction. Sorry, typing in the wrong place. I don't need to come here and say introduction. This is the manual thing that somebody was talking about, introduction. Then I go back and look at this. Introduction is on which page? Page 2. Then I come back, I put page 2. Then I enter a paragraph. Then I say, okay, chapter 1 is where? Chapter 1, the call to in the noisy generation. Then I come back here. Chapter 1, the call in a noisy generation. Then I go back to check this chapter 1 is on which page, Seb? And it's on page 4. Then I come back and I put page 4. That's what you're talking about. This takes time. This is clumsy. It's not like you can do it and you are apt to making mistakes, especially if the book is bulky and you begin to get tired. You will make mistake. Chapter 1 might be on page 6 and you go and put it on page 5 or 7. That is why you have the template there. It makes everything easy for you, no mistake, as long as you enter the template correctly. So to enter the template, I'll come to references and click on references. And the first thing I will have to the left-hand side of my screen is the table of contents. Okay, so I will select the table of contents, any style I want. They come in different stylings. And I'll just say, give me a custom table of content. And I'll just say, okay. Now, once I say okay, it will insert a table of content for me. See it? Because if I miss any title, I will not see it in the table of content. So look at my table of content. I have introduction 1, and this is chapter 1, and this is the title for chapter 1. I have 2, chapter 2. This is the title for chapter 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I didn't miss anything. And the pages where these chapters can be found. Let's just verify. For example, chapter 5 is titled The Language of Wisdom. And according to my table of content, it is found on page 27. Now let's scroll down to page 27 and see if this is true. I'm manually scrolling down. Don't worry. And this is page 27. What do we have there? Chapter 5, The Language of Wisdom. Do you see this now, Mr. Samuel and everybody? Is this clear? Give me a 3. If now the styling template makes sense to you, give me a 3 on the chat. Let me know we are together in class. Thank you. So that's the advantage of inserting this in the, as long as it is inserted, chapter name and pagination, there will never be a mistake. If you come back and insert more contents in the document, all you need to do is to go back and update the table of content, and it will rearrange itself and give you what you have. Okay, so let me go back to that table of content again to show you something. You can see we have introductions and then we
sorry, Coach. Sorry,
yes,
Mama Oluwatoyin said she doesn't understand how it's correct. I don't understand. Can you retype your question? How do you mean with this? I don't understand. I can't understand how it correctly. The question, I don't understand the question. Go ahead, Coach. Go ahead.
I mean, I don't understand how the page, the table of contents are aligned correctly with the page he has done before coming back to the table of content. How does it align correctly like that? How did he arrive at?
Okay, he will answer your question.
All right. So for the benefit of that question, let me delete this table of content. Okay. All right. Now, how did I get a table of content that had the chapter and the chapter title and the pagination correctly? That is because before, I don't know if you were here at the beginning of the class, I had to separate each chapter and place it on a separate page using the layout function here. For example, if I wanted to move, just watch this, assuming this place where you have this book joining through the subtle yet something, something, something. I want to move it down to the next page. I said, don't hit your paragraph this way. Don't use the paragraph button. It will not help you to move the content to a new page. What you need to do is to place your cursor in front of the text you want to move to the next page and simply come to layout, which is this, and break the page. That is, insert the content on a new page. Let it start on a new page this way. Okay, so it moves everything to a new page. Now, whatever, even if you add any content here, it won't be affected. It won't affect what you just moved down. Now, once you separate all your chapters on different pages, you simply need to come back, highlight the chapter titles, and come to your home tab here and look for this function, the styling template, the table of content styling template. They just call it styles. And look for any template of your choice, preferably heading number 1. But you can customize the template. You can even change the name of the templates if you want, okay? But usually I will advise you, because you're a beginner, start with heading 1 template. There is a reason for that. And you just click it. Once you click it, that title enters the template and it is giving a link. and that link is tied to the page here, like this page 4. The title is tied to page 4 because it starts on page 4. So whenever I go back to insert my table of contents, it will recognize chapter 1 as being on page 4. Let me just show you an example. Assuming this thing here, may this book stir your hunger for wisdom, I want to make it a heading that I want it to go into the table of content. All I need to do is to select this, like this, highlight it, come to the styling template, and then click on it. See, it has changed in size, in form, possibly even in color, depending on what I have here in the styling template. So you will need to do this for all the chapters in your book, one after the other. You must insert them into the table of heading styling template. And as soon as you do that, you have all your chapters in the template. You come back to the page where you want to insert your table of content. Usually the page will come before the contents in the book. And to insert the table of contents, come to references, which is here. And the first thing you will see when you click on references is the table of contents. And you observe this small arrow beside it telling you that there are other options for inserting the table of contents. So I'll click this. The last time I used one of these that has a dot. This time around, I will say custom table contents. And I can choose to say these dots that connect the chapter titles and names to the pagination. I don't want it. I prefer it maybe dash lines, or I don't even want anything at all. And I'll just click nothing. Then I'll say okay. So it inserts my table of content. Okay, I didn't place my cursor on the right place, and it gives me a table of content like this. Okay. So let me do that again. Insert my table of content. I say custom. Please don't put the dots. And I say okay. So that is how I get my table of content. Okay. Next thing is to just polish it up by typing table of contents beside this and simply insert a paragraph. I can decide to make this bold. So now it has a title, table of content. Now watch this. When I take my cursor to any one of these titles, a pop-up screen comes up. It says Control plus click to follow link. And this is what I've been explaining all afternoon, that if you insert your table of content in that template, it will generate a link for the table of content so that if your reader wants to go to page 6, for example, your reader doesn't need to start scrolling till he or she gets to chapter 6. Imagine if it is a 30-chapter book, and maybe each chapter has like 17 pages under it. So it's easier for him to just come here, press his control and key, and then click, and it brings him straight to chapter 6, which is under page 33. If you got that, give me a 9. If you got that, give me a 9. You want to navigate to a chapter easily from the table of content. Bring your pointer to the table of content, place it on the chapter you want to go to, press down your control button, hold it there, left click on your mouse, and this is on chapter 3 now, and it will take you to chapter 3. See? Simple. And that is the advantage of having a table of content. So now I have formatted this book to have a table of content and to have pagination. And at any point in time, I can always come back to this, my table of content, and go to layout and break a page there and decide to say, this new page here, I want to make it my dedication page. Okay. I want to make it my dedication page. And maybe I will say, This book is dedicated to the body of Christ, in Nigeria, for example, okay? And I want this captured in the table of contents. But unfortunately, I had inserted the table of contents before inserting the dedication page. Maybe I forgot about it. It's just now that I remembered, oh, this book should have a dedication page. No problem. All I need to do is to come to this dedication, select it, highlight it like this. What do I do? Go back to layout, right? Just the same thing I did with the other titles. Go to layout, home page, come to the styling template and click heading number 1. Okay. I can decide to now make the dedication stand in the middle, no problem, Control E. It still won't affect how it will appear in the table of content. Then now I'll go back to the table of content, place my cursor there, select it this way, right click, and then it gives me this window that says, do you want to update the table of content? It's saying update field, but it actually means update table of content. The same thing. Do you want to update this? And I say, yes, I want to update this. And then it asks me, do you want to update only the numbers? Now, assuming I added more content in the book such that I have more pagination now, but nothing has changed in the titles, I will simply say update page numbers only. But in this case, something more profound has happened. I brought in a new title, which is dedication, and I want it inserted into the template. And it even came with a new page. So I will say update the entire table, because dedication is not just about pagination, it's coming in, it's a new thing I'm introducing. So I will say update entire table. And then here you go. It has brought dedication into the table of contents. Okay. And I can continue to do this. Any mistake I make, no problem. That is the advantage of having that template. As long as you have it in the template, you always go back, update the table of content, and then the application will recognize where that title is and appropriately insert it in the table of content. Questions? Is there any gray area so far? We have succeeded in formatting our book, succeeded in giving it pagination, succeeded in inserting the titles into the template, and even generating a table of content. Any questions so far on this? Okay, so this is something I guess we can do. Mr. Samuel, you are wiping the sweat on your face. I hope no problem.
Yes, sir.
This one that you are sweating, sir.
Yes,
It's
sir.
clear, right?
It's not easy. It's clear, but I just have a question. This font size.
All right,
You
sir.
didn't talk about the font side. The font side. What if I want to increase the font size?
Okay,
the font side, that's the
of your book.
Listen, document, yes.
Oh, no problem. Yes. In fact, this is one of the first things you need to also do after sizing your book. If you don't want these things, you don't want the type size, you want to increase it, it's no problem. All you have to do is to select it this way. For example, I can select everything here under introduction. From the first paragraph to the last one, make sure it is highlighted this way, and then come back to this font sizing function here. Right now, it is telling me that the font size is 12. But assuming I want to make it 18 or 16 or 14, I'll simply go to 14 and click it. And then the size will change, it will increase. If I want it even bigger, no problem. As it is highlighted, I still go look for a bigger font size, maybe 18, and select 18. And there you go. It's looking big.
Wow.
And
Wow.
all right, sir. So the same thing with this, I can select all the text under chapter 1, for example. Make sure everything is highlighted. And once everything is highlighted, I go to the sizing function, let's say 18, and I click on 18, and it will increase. If I want to reduce this quotation here because it is a code inside the content of the book, it's the same process. I can choose, I will highlight the code and then reduce the sizing maybe to something like 14 or even 12, maybe 14. Just so that when the reader is reading, he knows that this one is a quote. It is not necessarily a part. It's not flowing with the actual content in that chapter. It's just a quote for him to read and maybe, make a quick glimpse of something to learn also. Okay. So that's how you change font sizes, sir. You just select it, go to the home tab, and then select the font size you want.
All right. Thank you so much.
And that is not even limited to the font size, sir. I can select this, for example, and change the styling. This came in Times New Roman. I didn't change the font styling. If I don't like Times New Roman, me personally, I don't like Times New Roman as a font style. I can select the text, then come to the box by my right-hand side, just beside the sizing function, and it will give you a pop-down window where you have as many font styles as you have in your system. There are apps you can install in your systems that will help you bring in new text styles that didn't come with your system. Anytime you browse or you go to any other function in your laptop, it will check if there is a new text there. It will import the text for you. So you can now increase the text variations that you have in your Microsoft Word. If I don't like this, I can pick Arial Narrow, for example, and it will change it to Arial Narrow. If I think I don't like Arial Narrow, fine. I can keep going down. Maybe stencil, for example. Let's just take stencil and select stencil, and it changes the style to stencil. You got that, sir? All right. So I think as far as formatting is concerned, that does it for today's class, but there are still many more things to learn in formatting. Maybe I'll come back to show us even more before the end of the 30 days bootcamp. But at least for today, we have been able to achieve these few objectives to separate our titles onto different pages, give the document pagination, insert the title and the headings into the styling template, and then use the styling template to generate a table of content which has links. These things we have been able to achieve, and then we have even been able to see how we can resize our font types and styles and sizes into anything that we so want. It is our book, but the watchword is that the formatting should be good enough, friendly to the eye, such that when your reader picks the book, he or she doesn't want to drop the book because it is poorly formatted. A poorly formatted book will not sell for you. Okay, people will read it, they'll become tired, drowsy, and they just won't want it. Okay? All right. So thank you for staying this long with me. I'm almost on the mark hour. I think we have 7 minutes to go. So if there is no question, no observation, I think I would love to hand over to Coach Bishop Ibrozion, who will officially tell us the next things to do. Okay. Is he there? All right, sir.
Yes, I am.
Welcome back, sir. Welcome
Thank
back,
you
sir.
very much. Let's give Coach Joseph Sule some emoji. Let's give him some love. You can stop the sharing now.
Thank you, sir. Let me just stop the sharing.
Yes.
Okay.
So tomorrow, what is the assignment? The assignment is simple. No, let me start with my own.
Okay, sir.
I need you to, oh yeah, everybody drop the title of the book you want to write or you are already writing from this class. Drop the title of that book at the comment section. Oh yeah, let's do it. Drop the book title at the comment section. No wayo. I don't want a book you have written before. I want you to do a new book. Drop the title first. Let me record the title. All participants, drop the title of your book, Unwritten Episode. I like that title. Unwritten Episode by Oluwatoyin Ogunlaja. All right, noted. Waiting for others. Vertical Blooms from Dr. Jumoke Kasim. Micro Wealth Blueprint from Mbambo Samuel. Noted. Yes, where is Mariam? Mariam, what is the title of your book? Alone with My Thoughts. When there is no mentor, no voice, no help. Wow. What a title. Alone with My Thoughts. Mariam Saluddin. All right, noted. So I need you to get to work with these titles. Write the book tonight, like you saw me did in this class. Format that book like Coach Joseph Sule showed you to do, and submit the manuscript on or before 12 noon tomorrow. That is the assignment. With this particular title you gave respectively, write the book, follow the video. I'm going to ensure the video recording for this class is sent into the group tonight so that it will enable you to watch and, perfect your skill in areas where you need to perfect it, and then implement immediately. Please always learn to imbibe the habit of doing what you are taught to do almost immediately. If you let it drag, it will just go and then you become complacent about it and you do nothing about it. So almost immediately, in Nigeria, we'll say, as it is hot, attack it, implement, and do it. Submit that manuscript of the book. We want to look at the style you use in formatting it, latest 12 noon tomorrow. Okay, for the sake of formatting, let me lift it higher to 3 p.m. 3 p.m. tomorrow. So Coach Joseph Sule, let's write it to 3 p.m. so that they have enough time to do the book formatting. Thank you very much. I think this is where we'll draw the curtain for today. If the class is worthwhile, you learned something new and it's impactful, please give me a 10 on the chat. I learned something new. Thank you, Mama Oluwatoyin, for the 10. Thank you, Mr. Samuel. Thank you, Mariam. Thank you, Coach Joseph. Thank you, Dr. Jumoke. Thank you, everyone, and God bless. All right, Coach Oluwakomile, you want to give a final word? I'm happy you are happy, Mr. Samuel. You say I'm happy. Your happiness is making me happy. Yes.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Thank you for the privilege. Thank you, Coach Joseph. That is a great one there. I have a book that I'm also writing also. I want to kill it. So I appreciate every one of you for being part of this. God bless you. Make sure you do the assignment. Very, very important. Honestly, you don't know until you do. So do the assignment and I'll see you at the top. Thank you so much, sir. God bless you.
Thank you very much. All right. God bless. See you tomorrow and good night.